have said that I would cut them to pieces and blot out their memory from mankind. If I had not dreaded the taunt of the enemy, lest their adversaries misunderstood and say, our own hands have prevailed. It was not Yiqwaba who did all this. Yasharal is a nation devoid of counsel, with no understanding among them. If only they were wise, they would understand it. They would comprehend their fate. How could one man pursue 1,000 or two put 10,000 to flight unless their rock had sold them, unless Yahweh had given them up? Awake, family. Mashpacha Arah. All right, Mashpacha, before I go ahead and start speaking on what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to identify these three people and their three names. I want to identify them so that we can call them according to their origin. Okay, according to their origin. I'm going to identify them, Yahweh willing, and then I'll go ahead and get into what I'm going to talk about for historical purposes. So here we go. So as you see before you, this is Barashayath. They say Bereshit. This is Barashayath, chapter 29. Jump down to verse 16. And verse 16 states, and Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well favored. So we see here in verse 16, it has Laban name in there, and it has two daughters, and it has the name here of the elder was Leah, and the younger was Rachel. So now we see that all of these names is in verse 16 and Barashaya 29. Let's go on over here to the Paleo Bar Bible. Let me jump up here so y'all can see where I'm at. This is Barashaya 29. We're going on down. This is verse 11. And I'm going to jump on down to verse 16. Right here you see Laban name, which shows more than one daughter. Right here when it says Shathaya, it says Laban, right here, Laban, Laban, Banawath, daughters, with the thou on the end, make it plural, Banawath, Sham, name, Haggah, Dalah, La'ah, it's La'ah, not Leah, it's La'ah. Sham, and name. So let's skip on down over here. The sister, Hakwa, Tanah, Rachala. So you see that there, and it stopped at 17, as you can see. Remember, let that move, and then I'm finna move on. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. But we stopped at 17, so that's Rachala, that's Banawath, daughters, La'ah, La makes the La sound. Ah makes the Ah sound. Ha makes the Ha sound. La, root word for La is Lamad. It is the staff. Ah, root word for Ah is the ox. It makes the Ah sound. Ha is root word for Ha is horizon. Someone lifting their hands up. Horizon. La'ah, Rachala, Ban, Wa, and here go Laban. Wala Laban. Okay, and that's Shathaya. That's to connect, and it means more than one daughter. That's why it says Banawath, Sham, Haggah, Dalah, La'ah. Skip over here. Rachala, Rachala. And there go her name again. Rachala. You look up here. La, no, Rachala. So when Yiqwaba finally finished his 7 years, he got no Rachala. All right. Ya, that's the Yad. Ah, Kwa, Ba. That's the 10. Kwa means set apart. Kodash. Means I. Ya, praise, hands lifted. Praise. All right. So now we got that out the way. Let's go on over to here. And let's read the story. And the story has a meaning. And I'm going to get into the meaning when I'm done. All right, so let's go on down to verse 11. Remember, this is Barashayah 29. Barashayah 29. And the meaning, wait a minute before I go on. The meaning of Rachala, is a female sheep. It comes from an Ewe word, mean a female sheep. Ewe means female sheep. So when you're looking at Ewe Bible, not Ewe, Ewe Bible, you will see the female sheep for Rachala. All right, according to them. Meaning female sheep. Strong concordance notes that Rachala name comes from the Abar word Ewe, symbolize the gentle beauty and desirability, softness, fertility, something cherished or prized. And now we're going to go to La'ah right here, La'ah. And let's go to the verse where we was at. La'ah. Her name means emotional heaviness, tired, weary, exhausted. From the Strong Concordance, H3812, and for Rachala is H7354. All right. And Laban. Laban means, let's go to Laban right here. Laban means white, as meaning white. White in ancient Sham days, naming often symbolized brightness, cunning like the snake, outward purity, masking inward motives, like Yahweh said, white, wash, tomb. So Rachala, root word for her name is Kabash, which means sheep. Ewe, in the Ewe language, Ewe, beauty, desire, softness, favor. And for La'ah, her name means weary, burden, overlooked, enduring. And for Laban, his root word for his name is white, cunning like the snake, outwardly clean, inwardly manipulative. All right. Rachala, the beloved. La'ah, the burden. Laban, the trickster, the deceiver. All right. So now we got the context for it. So let's go on. Sorry, I went there too. All right. So let's go on and read this. And Yiqwaba kissed Rachala and lifted up his voice and wept. And Yiqwaba told Rachala that he was her father's brother. So they show you their kinfolk. And when you look inside of the scripture, it'll show you that all 12 children, even the ones that came directly from the bloodline of Shem, all looked it just like the skin complexion of the Masrium and also Kawash, the Ethiopians, and also Canaan. They all had the same dark skin complexion according to Canaan's record of thinking that it was the Masri going out to pray and bury their dead. When it was burying Yiqwaba, the father of all these Shokar children. All right. Now, Rakhala, he was her father's brother, and that was, so let's look up Rebecca's name for historical context. That's verse 12. So verse 12. All right. Yiqwaba, la Rakhala, wa Yasha'a, Ath, Kwalawa, Wayabaka. That's her name right there. Wayabaka. All right. So we see Laaya, and we're going to look, let's see what the meaning, because I forgot to research. And it's and Yabacha. So that's just to connect this to this. So it's really Yabacha, Yabaka, my bad, Yabaka, not Cha, Yabaka. And her name means to bind, to tie, or captivating. Identifies Rebecca as being of Abar origin. So she's not of Hamitic origin, she's of Shemitic origin. And remember, when they saw all the children of Yiqwaba, and it says that Yabaka, my bad, not Ra, Yabaka, her brother is Laban, and Laban had 2 daughters. Those 2 daughters gave birth to children. Manasseh came from Rakhala. Manasseh and Apariam came from Rakhala. All right, and their mother is Abar. So when all 12 of the sons was going to the funeral to bury their father, Canaan said that he thought that all of them were the Masri going out to pray. Masri are Hamitic people. They were not mistaken for anybody else. And during those days, having Laban having a Laban white skin, you had to be outside the camp. You could infect somebody else. So the Shamash, the sun, would smite you and you would die. That's why they had the laws where there was a place where the people who had a skin condition would be able to go to. Now, this is not to tear down on nobody because their skin is Laban. This is to put this back in historical context to stop all the confusion. All right, now let's go back over here. My bad. Keep going now. When it says, and Yiqwaba kissed Rakhala and lifted up his soul. Let's go back down here. So we know her name is, grandmama name is Yabaka, not Rebecca, but Yabaka. All right? Yabaka. All right? And that's Laban's sister, which would make La'ah and Rachala, her nieces. But now her in-laws, because during that time it was establishing a nation. So everybody was doing that back then because a female and a male establishing a nation. All right. So, and sending her out to of his house, and or if the later husband died, which took her to be his wife, uh her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again. Let me go down here so we can get this correct. And if so, I'm back on the Dabaram, my bad. All right, so and Yiqwaba told Rachala that he was her father's brother. And Yiqwaba told Rachala that he was her father's brother. Her father's brother. Her father's brother. And that he was Rebekah's son. Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. Now we don't do this no more. Dabaryam, and Dabaryam, Yah was cutting these laws, and he said, look, that's not to be done no more. All right. But since this is Barashayath, this is the beginning of the creation. And it came to pass when Laban heard Trickster heard the tidings, whitewashed tomb, Laban heard the tidings of Yiqwaba, his sister's son, which means heel grabber, not supplanter. That's what Ashal said, but that's not what it really meant. He just insulted his brother, even though he sold his birthright. Of Yiqwaba, his sister's son. Now remember, Yiqwaba didn't have his inheritance with him, so he didn't have his diary. So this is why, and look at what Yiqwaba is doing. Of Yiqwaba, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embrace him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely you are bone of my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Yiqwaba, because you art my brother, shouldest you therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall that your wages be? So Yiqwaba's dawad, Laban was dawad to Yiqwaba. That means uncle. Dawada means auntie. So Yabaka was Rachala wa La'ah Dawada, auntie. But Yiqwaba's uncle Laban, Laban was Laban. And Laban said unto Yiqwaba, the heel grabber, because you are my heel grabber, because you are my brother, shouldest you therefore serve me for naught? Shouldn't you be my slave for nothing, with no wages? Tell me, what shall your wages be? All right. So Yiqwaba said, and Laban had two daughters. Watch this. The Sham, like we read, of one of the elder was La'ah, and the Sham of the younger was Rachala. La'ah was tender-eyed. We're going to look up this too. Tender-eyed. But Rachala was beautiful and well-favored. We're going to put this all into historical context. So this is verse 17. Let's jump back over here to the Paleo Abar. If you got your book, you can read along with me. Verse 17. Wa'aya naya la'ah, this Leah, Rakawath, wa and Rakhala hayata yapa. Now this is not Japheth. This is just how they said beautiful. And back in them days, when you name your children, you named them and your name meant something. So just because it says Yapath does not mean that this is Japheth and his descendants. Okay? So here it says Wa'ai Yanaya La'a Rakah Wath. And we seen what that meant. She didn't look good on the eyes. And then Wa and Rakhala Hayata Yapath. Beautiful. All right? Beautiful. So here, Wa'ayanaya La'a Rakawath and Ayanaya Laya Rakath. And then here for Wa Rakhala, beautiful. Now let's go on and keep on reading and finish. Let me move this over. All right. And Yiqwaba Ahab Rakhala and said he loved Rakhala. I don't want to go over there, but I should. So I'm going to show you that I'm not making stuff up. So this is verse 18. Let's go to verse 18. All right, that's 18. Waya and Ya Ahaba. And when he's Yiqwaba loved it, that's why I say he. Wa and Ya means he. Ahaba, without the ha on the end of the Ya, is he. Waya Ahaba, Yiqwaba. Ahaba means love. It's spelled with the alap, the ha, and the ba. Ya in this context is Wa Ya Ahaba, and he Ahaba, love Yiqwaba, and he Yiqwaba love Ath, connection to what he's saying, Rakhala, to the scribe that wrote this, connection to what the scribe wrote, Ath Rakhala. All right, so he loved Ath Rakhala. He didn't want to marry. He didn't want to marry La'ah. He wanted to marry Rakhala. So now let's go on over here. And Yiqwaba Ahab Rakhala and said, I will serve you. So this is how he loved Rakhala. He went back into slavery again and said, I will serve you 7 years. The word for serve, what I keep saying, servitude. And said, I will serve. Let's go over here. That's verse 18. So, Rakhala wa Amar said, Badaka Shabai Shanayam Baraya Khal Bataka Ha Quatana. So that's what he was saying. He's willing to work. And he says, and Yiqwaba Ahab Rakhala and said, I will work 7 years. Remember, 7 years for Rakhala, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, Laban Amor It is better that I give her to you, to Yiqwaba. Why? Than that I should give her to another Adam. Abide with me. Why? Because he was his kinfolk. He was of the same bloodline. And Yiqwaba served 7 years for Rakala, and they seemed unto him but a few days. When you happy, time fly by fast. For the Ahab he had to her. And Yiqwaba said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the Adam of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening, how somebody you ever trained them on a job or something, and you thought you was really gonna get that job, and the time flied by so fast because you was excited, learning and all that. And then as soon as the time come up, they hire somebody over you or fire you for something stupid. And brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah. Let's look up Zilpah for historical context. Verse 24. So first it says Laban gave unto his daughter, and you remember how it say daughter, and then it's gonna say Leah, and then say Leah, then it's gonna say Zilpah. So let's go over here to verse 24, because names ain't supposed to be obliterated, but that's what happened. But so we're gonna have to work what we got. So it says Waya Tana Laban. See how I said Laban? Laban. Laha Ata Za Lapa Shapa Chawath. Kathawa Lala Aha Ba Batawa Shapacha. So let's go back over here. Shapacha, let's see. Zilpah, Shapacha, handmaid, his. So let's look up his and Leah and see if somewhere in the Abar is connected, because it says daughter. His daughter Leah, Zilpah. So it says after Leah, Zilpah. So if Leah is connected to Zilpah, let's see here, 24. So Wayatan, Laban, Laha, Ath, connection, Za, Lapa, I guess that's her name right here, Zalapa. So let me look that up real quick. Zilpah. Zalapa. All right, Zilpah. So the word for that is H2153. A tricking fragrant dropping, a tricking fragrant dropping, or to drip like myrrh. From an unused abar root meaning to trickle, drip. That's her name. And it's H2153. Zalapa. All right. I'm not going to look up the other name. So if I skip it, so to save time. And it says maid for an handmaid. But let's look up maid and handmaid so we can see. Shapa, 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 Kawath, Lala, Lalala, Ba, Tawa, Shapacha, Shapacha. All right. So let's go on down. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was La'ah, and he said to Laban, what is this that you have done unto me? Did not I serve you? Did not I work with you for Rachala? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me, tricked me, snaked me? And Laban said, well, Laban Amor, it must not be done in our country. See how he tried to use his country's laws to circumvent the original agreement that he made, his oath that he agreed to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which you have served with me yet 7 other years. Now, but look, y'all work everything together for the good. Look at this. So look at this. In this covenant that La'ah and Yiqwaba had to go ahead and work some more for for Rachala. And in the midst of him working more for Rachala, then Laban gave him Rachala, his daughter, and then Bilhah. Matter of fact, let me look up Bilhah, since I done looked up grandma and them. And these mothers here, when you see these servants, they're also mothers of Yashara'Allah. So they not insignificant now, because they are also mothers of Yashara'Allah. I want y'all to see that. So 29, and it says, and Laban gave to Rachala his daughter Bilhah. So we're going to see it the same way we did with La'ah. So that is verse 29. So let's go down to verse 29. I wasn't intending to go that far, but since we're doing this, let's do it the right way. So here, Wayatan, and let's look for grandmama name. Laban, that's Unc name right there. Laban. They go Rachel, La, Rachala, Batawa, Ath, Balaha, Balaha. See, y'all see that? Balaha. So that's her name. And let's look up the meaning of Bilha. Balaha. 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 Ooh, Yahweh. Strong's 1090, meaning timid. And these are mothers of Yashara'Allah. Not just Rachala or La'ah, but also we have here Balha, Balaha. See, and it says also interpreted as trouble and brown Briggs. From the Abar root 1089, meaning to be timid, to falter, to become weak. Rachala's handmaid, given to Yiqwaba as a concubine. It's the mother of Don, who named his son Kawash, and in modern translation, Ethiopian, who named his mother named Hus, the son was named Ethiopian by Dan, all right? And Naphtali, and I believe I don't just believe it, I know that they're beyond the rivers of Kawash, the Ethiopian river. So there's two people that's named Ethiopia. There's the Kemetic Ethiopian and there's the Shemitic Ethiopian. The Shemitic Ethiopian come from Dan. And sometimes they're called Falasha, which means foreigner. And I learned that by listening to a cousin named, I say cousin because all of us come from Nach. By listening to a cousin from African Diaspora News Channel bring this out, Wangel Zalelim, I think that's how you say her name. Hold it to my peanut head, not my heart. Please don't feel bad now. A woman acting under pressure, Balha. See, Balha. A woman acting under pressure, someone whose life is shapen by decisions of others, quiet, suffering, which means humble, hitting emotional weight, a secondary figure whose children still shape destiny. And that's their mother's name. All right? Balha. And then you have Rachel. So let's look up, let's look down, and let's see who the other mother, who her children was. All right? Zalapa. Let's see her children. Zalapa had God and Ashar, and all these came from dark-skinned people. Remember when God, Ashar, and all of them came down there to mourn their fathers and their father Yiqwaba and bury him? Kham said that it was Masri going up to pray. They was saying that Kham, which is a Kemetic man that should know how Kemetic people look, said that he saw the Masri going out to pray, to mourn, but it really wasn't that. All right? They was going to bury Yiqwaba, who was just as dark as them. Canaan is the one that said that. Going out to mourn. I'm gonna look this up and then I'm finna keep on going, and I have one more verse to show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on reading. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Balha, his handmaid, to be her maid. Okay? So let me drop that off. And he went also unto Rachel, and loved also Rachel, and Laah, and served him yet 7 other years. And Yahweh saw Laah was hated. He opened her baton, her womb, but Rachel was barren. Means she couldn't bear. Yahweh closed up her womb. Okay? So I believe the one where Canaan was talking is in Barashaya chapter 50. And I want y'all to look that up. All right. Barashaya chapter 50. What verse? And I'm finna keep on reading this. And Laah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Ra'awaban. But she said, this is what his name means. Yahweh have looked upon my affliction. Surely Yahweh have looked upon my affliction, and this is what his name means. Yahweh have looked upon my affliction. Yahweh saw my affliction. Now therefore, my Ayash will Ahab me. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because, and this is what its name means, Yahweh have heard that I was hated. So it's me. And watch this. He have therefore given me this son also, and she called his name Shemawan. Yahweh has heard. And she conceived again. She got pregnant again and bare a son, and said, now, this time will my husband, will my Ayash, be joined unto me. Now his compassion, now his love will be to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Lawai, which means joined to Yah. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise Yahweh, which means Yada, Tawada, Tawada. That's why it says da on the end. Yahweh da. Not whatever that is what they say, because Yahweh, they say, so if you say it and they say, okay, how do you say Judah? They say Yahudah. Do that make sense? Why didn't it say Yahweh da? They said it in Africa, Wida, Yahweh da. Praise Yahweh. Wada, praise Yahweh. And left bearing. So she left from bearing, and her servant had babies as well. And all these servants, handmaids, and Rachala bare children. Then Rachala finally bare, and Rachala envied her sister and said unto Yiqwaba, give me children, or else I die. Rachala sent Balaha, remember? Balalha, and go in unto her, and she bare upon her knees, that I may also have children by her. So here is Rachala, her turn now, her handmaid to wife, to Asha, to marry. And Yiqwaba went in unto her, and Balaha conceived and bare Yiqwaba a son, Ban. And Rachala said, Allah have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. Now, in America and in different places, you can, if you are barren, they have something where you can go and they'll have a woman that'll have a baby for you, right? Well, back in those days, they had something like that. But look, you had to marry the woman, and that was your wife. But in America, they could just go to the place and get it. Now they got donors out there too. But this is how they did it back then. And Balaha, Rachala maid conceived again, and bore Yiqwaba a second son. And Rachala said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. Okay? Yiqwaba name means heel grabber. Naphtali means wrestle and prevail. When La'ah saw that she left bearing, she took her again, Zalapah, her maid, and gave her Yiqwaba to wife to marry. And Zalapah, so they was warring with each other for Yiqwaba's heart. And all of this stemmed down because of trickery, and Yahweh is using all of this for his good. And La'ah made bear Yiqwaba a son, Bun, and La'ah said, a troop cometh. Okay? There's some warriors here. And La'ah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name God. It don't mean the creator of the heaven and the earth. God does not mean the creator of the heaven and earth in a bar, that sound, but it means a troop cometh. A troop. And she called his name God. And Zalapah, La'ah made bore Yiqwaba a second son. And La'ah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. Baraka. And she called his name Ashar. Ashar, happy. And Ra'awaban went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field. Mandrakes, and they got them over there where it get real hot at. Mandrakes, the root that help your stomach. Roots in the field. You know how people used to go and dig up roots, even in America. That's where you get collard greens. That's where you get the okra, because they were scavengers. But look at this. And Ra'awaban went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother La'ah. Then Rachala said to La'ah, give me, and I will pray you, and I pray you of your son mandrakes. And she said unto her, it is a small matter that thou hast taken my ayash. See, she mad. It is a small thing that you took in my ayash. Look at La'ah saying this to Rachala. He was really working for Rachala, not La'ah. So you see, it's a whole big drawn out thing going on. And Laban is all behind it. The deceiver, the trickster, the dirty dealer. He was all behind it. But the whole thing is being destroyed and tore up because he did not pay Yiqwaba what he worked for. And now he got these people, these beautiful women out here arguing, Laban, and Yiqwaba is going through a whole thing, but all this gonna work together for Yahweh's will. And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachala said, therefore he will lie with me. He will yada. He will lie with me, with thee tonight. Look, in English, L-I-E means lie still. But in Abar, it's yada. So it's different language. But it's tricky with English. Because if you just seen this word by itself, then you'll just say, oh, somebody spelled lie. Who lied? With you tonight for your son's mandrakes. And Yiqwaba came out of the field in the evening, and La'ah went out to meet him and said, you must come in unto me, for surely I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. So she paid Rachala, and Rachala let her have what she paid for, time with her husband. You see this? She did even more better than Laban did, because Laban didn't even keep his oath. But at least Rachala kept her oath, paid for the mandrakes. And Alahayim hearkened unto La'ah. He listened to her prayer. He didn't condemn her. And she conceived, she got pregnant, and bore Yiqwaba a fifth son. So here's another son came directly from the loins of Yiqwaba and the womb, the baton of La'ah. And La'ah said, Alahayim, Allah have given me higher. because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Yashashakar. Look at this. Yashashakar, there's a tribe in Apar beyond the river of Kawash in Africa, beyond the river of Cush, named Nguni. They are descendants of Issachar. They live in Zulu land. They are Shakar. And if y'all willing, I'll post up the Bible verse so y'all can go and look at it and see it for yourself. Matter of fact, I can just share it with you because I already shared it on my community tab. And La'ah conceived again and bare Yiqwaba a sixth son. Look, this is another one directly from the Abar line. And La'ah said, Allah have endued me with a good diary. Look at this, with a good diary. Now will my Ayash dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zabalan. All right? Let me look that up so I can make sure I got that name right. And while I'm looking this up, let me read Dinah. And afterwards she bare a daughter and called her Diana. All right? And that's in verse 21. All right? Matter of fact, I can look it up in the book so y'all can see it yourself. So that's verse 20. I don't even have to look in my dictionary on my phone. Let me look it up on here so y'all can see it. Verse 30, verse 20, La'ah and Zawabalan. And let me just look up Dinah so we can get this right. Verse 30, 20, and 21. All right, let's go to 20 and 21. I'm almost done. 20 and 21. All right. Wa the Amar and said, La'ah Za Ba Gadanai Za Ba Ga Danai Zaba Gadna Zaba Zaba Gadanai Zab. Oh man. Zaba Gadnai. And let's go over here. Alahayim. The ah makes the ah sound. La makes the la sound. Ha makes the ha sound. Ya makes the ya sound. Ma makes the ma sound. Them together make it plural. My bad, I'm clicking the wrong thing. These together, the yam and the ha together make it plural. Let me do this again. The yam and the ha together make it plural. Allah and the ha connects the plurality. But here it is Allah, Hayam. All right? Allah Hayam, Ataya, Za, Ba, God, Zabaga, Zabag, Ta, Wab, good, Apa, Aim, Ya, Za, Yaza, Balanai, Ayah, Shayash, Ayashaya, Ayashaya, Kaya, like my, Yala, Yala da Thaya, Yala da Thaya, Lawa, Shah, Shasha, Banayam, children. Wa Takwa Ra, Wa Takawa, Wa Takwa Ra'a, Ath, connection. Sham, name, and Za Ba La Wan. That's Zebulon. Za Ba Lawan. Zaba Lawan. All right. And where is Dinah? So let's go over here, and I'm almost done. And afterwards she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. Verse 21. So that's Zabalawan. And we're going to go over here and we're going to find Dinah. Bata, Yalada. Keep on going. Let me find Dinah right here. Diana, not Dinah, Diana. All right. So this is what y'all got out of this. And Allah remembered Rakhala, and Allah hearkened to her and opened her baton, opened her womb. I don't know why we started throwing up batons and stuff and Bethune-Cookman and all that. I don't know where that really come from, but the origin of the word baton is from the oldest language on the earth, and it means womb. And I don't know why we throw the baton up in the air, hoping that we catch it. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, Allah have taken away my reproach. Allahayim have hearkened and taken away my reproach. And she called his name Yabasap. Now Yabasap had 2 children, and Yiqwaba adopted those 2 children. Yabasap was likened to be dead. His name was changed to Sap Not Paneah while he was in captivity in Masrium, enslaved by the Masri. And when his brothers came up to see him, he was mistaken for a Masrium, all right, for a Hamite, for an African, the Oyes, the African, all right. So all of them were Shakar. What Laban was, he could have been, if he would have did right, he could have lined up with this part of his name, a clean dealer, clean-hearted, clean. But he didn't line up with his name, and that asset he lined up with the negative part of his name. All right. And that's why we know him as a whitewashed tomb, unclean. Just like even Yehowadah Iscariot, Judas Iscariot, was like a whitewashed tomb. Even though he was Shakar, because it says Yehowadah is black unto the ground, their visage is blacker than a coal. Even though their skin is Shakar, that does not mean that they beautiful in the inside. So Laban was a trickster. He was subtle like the devil. All right. Now let's go over here to this, and I'm finna read this, and I'm finna get up off of here. And if the man be poor, and you shall not sleep with his pledge. So when you give your brother a loan or something, and he worked for it, you don't let him, you don't sleep, don't let the sun go down on your wrath like the scriptures say. Well, guess what? When you owe somebody money, you ain't supposed to let the sun go down on that right there. You're supposed to pay that person before the sun go down, before the shamash go down, that he may sleep in his own raiment. He won't have to depend on nobody. He worked for what he worked for to get out of poverty, not working so that he can always remain in poverty, and bless you. and it shall be. See, the person that do this trickery with this money, that person is unclean and subtle like the snake. Watch this. And bless you, and it shall be righteousness unto you before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall not oppress and hired slave, servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of your brethren, like we say in America. It don't matter if you're black or white, whether he be of your brethren or of your strangers. Even if it's a Hamitic African, you ain't supposed to oppress them in their wages. Or of the strangers, the people that sojourned with us in our land, that we don't have possession of no more, that are in thy land, within thy gates, within your kingdom. At this day, you shall give him his hire. So what did it say? They say if a man don't work, a man don't eat. But if you got the job, you got all the resources and stuff, but you refuse to let that brother work, how can you say to that brother, if a man don't work, he don't eat, but you won't even hire the brother to work? It says, if you have that brother's necessity and things that he need and refuse to give it to him, you worse than an infidel. You, at this day, you shall give him his hire. Neither shall the shamash go down upon it, for he is poor. He need a job if he poor. So if the brother get out of prison, he need a job. Now, it's sad that a lot of brothers and sisters are being treated, especially the brothers, is being treated like felons without even a record, and setteth his heart upon it. And then they turn down loans for people so that they can't even establish stuff to get it. And the people that got the loans, some of them, not all, but some of them refuse to hire their own brother and sister, because they say, if I hire my brother and sister, I'm being racist. I'm supposed to hire somebody other than my brother and sister to prove that I'm not racist. Lest he cry against you unto Yahweh, and it be sin unto you. So when your brother cry against you because you refuse to pay him right, or refuse to even hire him and give him the things that he need, like somebody say, I don't want to give you nothing for free. A gift, a gift does spoil the heart. But if the brother want to work, let him work. All right, that's all I want to bring out today, and I want to get up off here. I just want to bring it out because I noticed that there's a lot of times that we're not hired on jobs and stuff, and it looked like there's no Bible verse and nobody's willing to talk about it in vast. And I'm gonna post up a video that Pastor Kelly had did, and also a video of one of our sisters she had did about the mental health of men, because the mental health of men does look like he angry, and a lot of times people like to attack men and attack their natural nature, what they call masculinity in English, to attack their natural nature, the nature of Ayash, to attack that, to put him out of the job. You can't get this, you can't get that. We're going to give it to the woman. Get yourself together. A lot of times, even when they stop by the law enforcement, they trying to fix the natural tendency of a male to be a male. They want to break him. You know what I'm saying? Even if the brother is innocent, people will try to break him. And a lot of times, even with a European man, he'll try to break his own brother. So what I'm saying is that this right here is real. Mental illness is real. And a lot of us is going through this, and we need to hear somebody telling us that it ain't nothing wrong with us for being an Ayash. There's nothing wrong with a woman for being an Asha. That's your natural nature. And it's something wrong when being an Ayash and being an Asha is punishable by firing. If a woman got too emotional, or if she's on her time of the month, as all women get, that has a healthy womb, a healthy baton, that they may need a couple of days off and have paid leave. If the brother can't go to work, then his wife go out to work on her time. And we're all at the same time trying to tear down the brother because people is not hiring the brother. That's what need to change. That's what need to change. And if they labor with their hands and they not paid for their labor, then that's a sin. But we know how these things go. All right, Mashpaka, I'm about to get up off here. I've been on here for a little minute. I recorded this video before, but the audio didn't go through properly, and it was shorter, but this one is longer, so I hope that you get something out of this. An hour and 5 minutes is something. But Shalom. Thank you, Mashpaka. I think I left you with enough meat. Shalom. This is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.